Yeah, because then Shaz is going to laugh at me and see if it comes out all weird.
Yeah, is that fine?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. So today, as is normal in these sessions, we're going to be looking at a review of the induction program. I will ask a couple of questions around what you're aware of, just to reinforce and ensure that there's an understanding across the group. So can I ask everyone to introduce themselves quickly? And your name is? Amy. Welcome, Amy. Bernadette, welcome. Maureen, welcome. Welcome, Ellie. So there are certain things which I'll cover, and I will use certain terms which might seem technical. If the terms are too technical, please let me know and I'll expand on those, or I'll ask you what you think they are, and then we'll try and cover these by way of examples from your own setting. So we have a joined up session in a sense that we have childcare and we also have adult care. Do we have anyone for the Access to Nursing program? We have access to nursing as well. Brilliant. So you're all in sectors which are care related. Pardon me. So our centre is Centre for Leadership and Management Development. And as you came in this morning, I believe you were asked to sign in at the main reception. Do you know why you were asked to sign in?
It's for health and safety.
Health and safety. Any other suggestions?
Security purposes.
Security purposes, to know who is in the building.
known as safeguarding.
And safeguarding. And all three are correct. So from a security perspective, the building managers need to know who's been in, who's been out. If there was an incident of a sort of a security nature, then they know this person came in, they can pin that down. They know which of the companies you've gone into, and therefore they're able to ask us who this person is, etc. And hopefully we can provide, this is very low risk, so we do not anticipate any issues, but just to let you know why you had to sign in at the main reception. Now, as you come into our building, you're asked to sign in again. Now, do you know why you're asked to sign in again?
Safeguarding.
Safeguarding again. So the same sorts of things again, but why would we want to do it again, considering it was done at reception?
It's a different building, and that way if you can't access one, then you can always access the other.
Absolutely. So belt and braces. So if we don't have access, they use their information for one thing. They use theirs for building control. We use ours for registration, Ofsted, funders, and also, as you said, it's close proximity. I wouldn't want, if there was unfortunately a fire and I went to the muster point, the congregation point, I wouldn't want to have to chase the reception. I would have just grabbed my own register and then run to reception and take Amy, Bernadette, Maureen, brilliant, and you all here. And I know, done. That's taken care of. Where if I have to go back into that building, I might be going into the source of a fire, into that burning building. Again, unfortunately, we hope that never, it's low risk, but those are the sorts of scenarios that you would take an additional register. Plus, it's a mandatory requirement for funding purposes. We've got to take a register, so we're able to track people's registers when they attend, and we know you were in that lesson, for example, so you've not missed it, and therefore I've covered that element of learning for your program. But also, there's another good thing about taking a register. If I then want to just look at a trend of your learning, your participation in the school, then I can look at that and have a discussion with you. Or you attended that session, but you're not doing so well on this topic. Why? Is it that the tutor wasn't so engaged? Is it that the lesson was at a different level? Were you just having a bad day, etc.? So those sorts of things. So the register provides a lot of information that we can use for different things. So we encourage you to sign in at the 2 points. Apologies, you're duplicating. And also, if for some odd reason the register is not available, please ask. Sometimes it goes around the class and people may have it tucked away accidentally. So please let us know when we'll have it available for you. So I'd just like to remind you where the fire exits are. So in this room, there's a fire exit to that door there. And there's also the door through which you came to enter this part of the building, though that's a fire exit as well. Now, it's nice to have two exits, because if you're in this room and the source of an incident or a fire was that way, you don't want to go back in that direction. You want to exit to the nearest point. Now, all our fire doors are regulated with the nearest exit regulations. That is just a push down bar. You push the bar down, you're out. The break glass system is not being used so much now. I think they're phasing them out because, you know, break glass seems a little bit dramatic, where that is, you might cut yourself on the glass.
You might not even, your sense gap might not even remember such.
So the break the glass, where that instinctively you push that and you're out. So you push that, you're out, and you just follow the running man sign. If you look above there, you can see the light. If it's dark and the lights went out, that light would come on. And you just follow the running man, exit on the road, and our muster point or fire congregation point is in the main town centre by the Wimpy restaurant. And I'm one of your fire marshals, Shaz is another, and we'd just be waiting there for you to arrive to take the register. Another important reason why we take the register. Okay, so those are our fire exit points. And the facilities, as you go through the double doors here, through which you can go straight across the hallway there. The ladies to your left, the gents to your right, and the disabled toilet straight ahead. We do also provide water facilities here for you. It's a water machine. Feel free to help yourself. There's tea and coffee there. Don't always rely on the milk. So if you really are into milk, then we encourage you to bring along your own. Unfortunately, sometimes it's don't know how long the milk has been there, and I wouldn't want to cause any harm. So the water machine is always water, but not always milk. So if you drink a hot drink, then feel free to use the kettle, etc. Okay, any questions so far? So the programs are funded by the ESFA and the Student Loans Company, yours, ESFA. You notice yesterday was Brexit Day, so today we're officially out the EU. 31st yesterday, 1st of February today. So that effectively means that we're in a period of transition when we are, it's like leaving home, I guess. Things change, you have to do you have to make new arrangements, start paying your own bills. If you used to pay your mom rent, you don't pay her anymore, etc., etc. But you know, it is part of it. It'd be nice to read and see politically what has motivated the decision, etc., and why we are where we are. You might have your own views on it. It's a personal thing. Some people think it'd be worse, some people think it'd be better. But the fact of the matter is we're out. And we just have to make arrangements around that. So, here we are. So the reason I mentioned that in particular, our programs are funded by the European Social Fund. And that also helps to fund the apprenticeship, not the access program or the adult care, because that comes through the UK system. So yours is funded in that way, but you've got another 2 years, I think, before it expires. So now is the time to do that. I don't think it will go all together. You'll always have apprenticeships, they'll just be funded in different ways. But if you're on this pathway, it's useful just to take advantage of that and do it, because you don't know what the new thing will look like. In your case, nothing changes. In fact, if you are going into nursing, it's actually a very good time, because where a lot of nurses came from the EU, and that's not happening so much. We're short of 45,000 nurses in the UK. So if you're looking for job security, then you're going in the right direction. We'll talk some more about that on your program. So, you know,
a lot of them have left already.
Yes, some people have gone back home. Yeah.
So that's why they're struggling now, having a lot of short of staffs in so many departments.
Yeah, that is one thing that has led to that. So, I mean, so that's a downside. The upside is that the UK is now forced to put more money in to train people, which is why I'm saying for you guys going into that sector, it couldn't be a better time because the opportunities, and you might find bursaries coming in, more support. There's the apprenticeship, associate nursing.
In 6 months, is it done already?
Which one's
Last
that?
year they said they were going to put the apprenticeship on nursing.
Oh no, it's ready. It's running. It's running. East London, University of East London's running that. We're recruiting for that for them at the moment. So we could talk about that one-to-one as well. when we come. Yeah, it's the associate nursing.
Okay, the associate.
But we have got a direct link to that, so we can help you with the forms, and you don't have to go through UCAS. In fact, we encourage you don't go through because we have.
It's really kind of. They said that if you have maybe your children is still
young,
you might struggle with it because it's
well,
kind
no,
of full.
No, you can do it part time. If you do the apprenticeship in nursing, you can do it part time. You can do any apprenticeship part time. It just takes longer. Because say for example, the apprenticeship is 366 days minimum. But if you're only doing 20 hours a week, then you have to do it over a longer period.
A longer period because it's a part-time.
Because then it's hours.
3 years then.
Yeah,
3.5 maybe.
Little ones, isn't it?
Yeah, so rather than not doing it, and plus with the apprenticeship, you start getting paid
You get
straight
paid
away.
for it. You get paid for it.
But we'll talk about that one-to-one, okay?
So I actually
No, don't be stressed by it. We'll help you with
I
that.
actually wanted to become a nurse at some point because my nanny Gwen, she was a nurse.
Oh, wow.
Her name was Gwendolyn Brill, so she was a nurse. When I cut my eye open, she always used to stitch me up.
Yeah.
I've went through a lot of jobs that I wanted to. I wanted to be a singer, I wanted to be a nurse. But nursing was
And here you are.
yeah.
You're going to be a singing nurse.
So it wouldn't be a bad thing. They just say art therapy would be good for me as well because I'm into my art.
But you'll be good in that.
Yeah. She's very mild, isn't she? Very mild
You'll be good
mannered.
in that.
I think she will be good at the child care.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what she's doing
She's
now.
gonna be, I think she's very careful.
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Pediatric nursing.
Yeah.
Midwifery, who knows? Yeah, but we'll talk about that some more because then I'll guide you on which units to really
Yeah.
build your skills on. But after a year, you could get into nursing.
That could be a good thing to get into.
Fantastic. We'll talk some more about that. See, you getting all this? Not yet 60. They're going to come with there each time.
I you to.
She's gonna get that.
Yeah, she'll get that.
Okay, so I'd just like us to then cover British values very briefly because we will cover this again and embed this into your sessions and then talk a little bit about equality and diversity. Then we'll break out into the individual courses. So does anyone know what British values are? Go on.
Isn't it like our country struck?
It's like,
I don't know how to explain it.
well, just say what you think it is. Well, values. What are values?
I can see what we are known for.
Yeah.
What we believe in.
Yeah, what we exactly.
Yeah.
That we believe in, inequality, inclusion, and confidentiality, that is love. You the same way you love yourself, you just extend it to others, and you have to respect, not self-respect. You have to respect other people's.
Opinions and
Yeah,
views.
exactly. I think
I
those
guess it
are
kind of depends
and
on
compassion.
how
You have to be.
So the things we live by.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you look at it because there's individual values and then there's British values. So
Yeah.
our individual values are something that like our opinions, views on things. So for example, my views on politics, my views on health and safety, that kind of thing. Like different views on different things, my views on music, that kind of thing. But with British values, it's more whole nation of values.
Yeah.
So it's
Like
what
a
we value-
collective.
Yeah, it's what we value as a whole, kind of thing.
Fantastic. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Maybe like
So
equal rights, for example, that's valued
Yeah.
as a whole, kind of
yeah.
thing.
So it's those things that kind of identify with us as a
yeah.
group
Yeah,
or group values.
it's what makes us
Fantastic.
united, basically.
Fantastic. So if you look at the poster just up there, you will see we've got British values up there, and it's noted what British values are: individual liberty, democracy, the rule of law, mutual respect and tolerance for those with different faiths and beliefs, and for those without faith. So, wouldn't you say that those are values that should be all our values? Would you not say that those are values that we all should live by? So why are they British values? Couldn't we just say that they're core values that people should believe in? Yeah.
It's on my perspective. I just think that people, we're all different. People come from different places.
Different backgrounds,
And,
right?
what you believe, I don't believe in it. What I believe, you don't believe in it. So we just have
We
to
all have
respect
our
that.
own
Yeah.
opinion.
Absolutely. But do those values, as just described, would you say that those are good values for us to believe as a group?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But-
everybody have his own space
Yeah.
of what the extent of what you have to do to others and what you expect from others.
Absolutely.
Like, we all have our own values, our own views on things, but I feel like those main views as a whole make us united, make us like a unit.
As they say, there are greater things that we have in common than things that we're different in. And that, you're absolutely right. As a group, as you say, it's nice to have those values because those values are good team values. But if we were to take something like democracy, for example, not every country has a government that people vote for. So that's not the value for every country. But when you're in the UK, then we vote for our government. And in fact, that was one of the things, the fallout with Europe. They felt that they were being governed by people, a group, which they didn't vote for. And they might not necessarily buy into those ideas, those ideologies, those rules that they're being governed by. But that's a whole different discussion. So you get the whole understanding about British values. We sometimes say that they're core values, they're values that we should live by rather than being British. So if someone doesn't want to be identified as British or find the whole concept of it saying it's British values a bit of a difficulty, you can put it forward as core values. So from a funding perspective, when you're accessing this program or these programs, you're expected to treat people with those values in mind. So when you come in, you'd respect each other, you'd understand that we live in a democracy, so we don't just go off and be a dictator and make up our own rules. If I say to you, could you sit on this side of the room, then I'm expecting some kind of buy-in for the fact that we have rules. But they're bigger rules. For example, in the UK, we drive on the left. So no one wants to see you driving on the right-hand side of the road because that then poses a particular problem. You'll have a collision and then, who knows, you might get arrested if you get caught. But so indeed, on your phone, yes. So don't talk on your mobile phone while you're driving, another one. So just to be aware of those, and from time to time we will go through that on various bits of your paperwork. We'll embed it into your program to show you why these are such good things to understand and to follow through. And people in care, in particular, people working in the care sector, it's good to understand that because a lot of things that you will do will be around those sorts of values. And then finally, if we could just talk a little bit about equality and diversity. So as you look in this room, you can, I think the only group that is probably not represented in this room is the masculine gender. And we tend not to get many men in the care sector, even though I'm hoping that's going to change.
Because obviously
Get more-
men see it as a less masculine
Kind of role,
They want to
traditionally.
prove themselves to like everyone that they're big, they're masculine, they're not sensitive and all this.
Yeah, they don't see it as a female or traditionally, but hopefully that is changing. So that's one group that's not represented today, but we got ladies. So we've got ladies 100%, and that's a bit of maths there for you coming in. So the ratio of male to female in this room would be 0 to 1. Yeah, absolutely no males. And then, but of course, we've got females, we've got people from different countries, we've got the younger age group, we've got ladies recently out of school, lady not out of school yet, ladies who are employed. So we talk about the employed and the unemployed, and we've got maybe not employed yet. So we go 8 to 2, and that's, or 4 to 1, that sort of thing. So it's just nice to also understand your ratios. Now, another place where your ratio would come up is in your work. I know you've got, with the babies, you've got to have, is it 2 to 1 adult to 2 babies, and the toddlers, is it 1 to 5, and then the older ones 1 to 8. So that would be called a ratio, the number of adults dealing with children. And in your sector as well, you'd have a number of nurses or support workers to the number of clients, etc. So it's nice to understand ratios or percentages when you're dealing with staff resource planning. And equality and diversity goes even beyond just looking at the fact that we're different in different ways. It would, for example, if you're preparing a meal, are you going to go for halal or haram? Because if you prepare haram meat and you've got Muslims and they can't eat haram, then they want halal meat, then of course someone would say you're breaching their human rights because you're not giving them the right kind of food. Or someone is diabetic, and just being aware of those sorts of situations.
We actually have that in our thing. We have like these
Allergy.
little mats.
Sorry?
Even allergy.
Allergies, yeah.
We have those. We have these little mats, and it says on the mats what the child can eat, what the child can't eat.
Yeah.
And the other day we were having pizza, and some children
Can't eat.
They can't have like, they're vegetarians, or they're not allowed pork or something like that. So we split up the group. So we had the vegetarians and all that on one table, and then we had the ones that can eat everything on the other table, which it was a diverse kind of thing.
Helps with your planning.
Yeah.
In some nurseries as well, what they do, they have like a plate, and they have like 25% protein, 25% carbs, and vegetables.
We don't split up we don't, like, if someone can't eat something, we don't just go, oh right, they can't eat it, so no one else is allowed to eat. We kind of make it so it's equal, which obviously
and a bit of choice as well.
So it gives them a bit of a choice.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, thank you. And it's the same thing you guys would do. Obviously, you'd plan it differently, but with the kids, because you're using it as a teaching opportunity as well. The fruits are good, but they might not like fruits, but they're allowed it. So you're giving them that choice at the same time with healthy eating.
Giving them the options, like the different options that they have. They're not stuck to just one thing.
Obviously,
Exactly,
like politics, you're given the different options of different things that you can vote for. So it's giving you that option. So.
Bit of democracy there as well. Thank you.
It's a subject I'm kind of into, so if you can do that.
Thank you very much. So we'll go over these quite a bit one-to-one as well. So we've covered your induction. Any questions? No questions. So we'll see you now on a one-to-one basis. Thanks very much for coming this morning. I believe you're going now to take care of some paperwork. And you have a good afternoon. All right, thank you very much. You turn that off for me, please.